Hi kiddos, welcome back to today's biome lesson. Before we jump in with our new biome, let's do a quick review about the things we've learned so far. So you should have a page that looks like this, which says ecosystems and biomes. Remember, an ecosystem is a group of living things in one spot that help each other stay alive. Okay, and then scientists looked and they saw that a lot of these ecosystems had the same characteristics, the same plants, the same animals, the same kind of rainfall, and they gave them names, and those are where we get biomes. Okay, so you should have your producers. They take sun, air, nutrients in the soil and turn it into glucose or energy, sugar, that the consumers can come eat, and consumers either eat the plants or each other, and then eventually they die, and the decomposers come along and turn them back into nutrients in the soil. So it's kind of this big circle, okay? Then we learned about our first biome, and this was a place that was super cold all the time. The warmest days are like the days we're having now. They have some animals, not a ton. They have very few plants, and then they have that layer of soil under the top that never, ever, ever, ever unfreezes, called permafrost. And this is a place called the tundra. So you should have your tundra page, you should have a few animals in the tundra, your permafrost underneath. Today we're going to start talking about grasslands. Now there are actually two kinds of grasslands. Tomorrow we'll talk about what's called a tropical grassland in places like Africa. But today we're going to focus on temperate grasslands, which are in the northern hemisphere mostly, although there are some down in South America, okay? Now, we'll just call them grasslands instead of temperate grasslands because I know that's kind of a mouthful. As I explain what a temperate grassland is like, I want you to really listen and see if it reminds you of any place you've ever been, okay? That's your task. So, the grasslands are called grasslands because growing in these places is mostly cotton candy. No. Grass. These places are full of grass. Not a lot of trees, not a lot of shrubs and bushes, mostly different kinds of grass. That's why they're called grasslands. And there are varied temperatures. Remember, the tundra was super cold in the winter and then warmed up some in the summer, but not hot. In the grasslands, you will see super cold in the winter and then super hot in the summer. So there's a big change in the temperatures, okay? And one of the biggest grasslands is in the middle of our country, Central North America, and we call this the plains or the prairies. And it has moderate rainfall. So if you remember, the tundra, I told you got about 10 inches, okay? Not a lot, less than one ruler. The grasslands will get 2 or 3 times that, so 20 to 36 inches. And I would have to put my hands way back here for you to see it, okay? If you have a little brother or sister, they might be close to 3 feet and you might get that much rainfall. Now, compared to other places in the world, that's not a ton, okay? That's why we don't have a lot of trees and other things growing there, but it is enough to sustain life and to give the grass especially life. And what's really cool is they get not as much water as a forest, but more water than a desert, and you actually find them in the world, usually between a forest and a desert. So if you look, there would be a forest up here, and desert down here, and then grassland in between, which is really cool. They get rain in between, and then they are in between those places. So, kind of in between. There are some trees, but usually those trees are growing along river valleys where there's more water, and these places are really good for farming because the soil is really rich in nutrients. So especially in the middle of our country, a lot of farmers settled there because it was a good place to grow food. Now, let me list some animals, and this should start to spark in your little minds where this reminds you of. Bison or buffalo, antelope, deer, coyotes, wolves, prairie dogs, jackrabbits, mice, hawks, owls, grasshoppers, snakes, quails, foxes. Does that sound like anywhere you know? Definitely. We are living in the part of the world that is considered a grassland. So we have mountains near us here in this valley. We're blessed. We have forests nearby. But if you go to eastern Montana, you will see that it is almost all flat and full of grass. So we are living in the grassland areas of this country. All right, now I have a picture of some of those animals. Let me hold it up close and tell you what you see here. There is a jackrabbit down here, snakes, coyotes, okay? There's an antelope. We have grasshoppers. Way back there in the distance, you will see the bison, okay? I'm trying to think what else. Oh, prairie dogs, okay? Birds, like I said, there were owls and hawks, all kinds of things, snakes. So you have a lot of options today, and a lot of these animals should be super familiar to you because of where we live. So this one shouldn't be too hard to think of animals that fit in the grasslands. So you will need a piece of paper. You need to hold it portrait style, please. And at the top, we need to write grassland. Remember, you can do it in bubble letters, you can do it in fancy letters, however you wish. Just like I did with my tundra, I will go back and trace it in color, make it beautiful, but for now, we'll just focus on getting things on here. Okay, so here it says grassland. I'm going to draw a line for my ground. I might then come back and put grass in some places to get started. So that's just little wispy vertical lines off the ground. I might add more. Now I'm going to put a little prairie dog or ground squirrel down here underneath. I know they're frustrating for moms and dads when they're tearing up lawns, but I think they're really cute. So I'm gonna put one digging a hole underground, okay? There's my little ground squirrel or prairie dog. I'm definitely gonna put a buffalo here, even though I'm not the greatest buffalo drawer. Okay, so I'm gonna have a big old buffalo kind of hiding behind the grass over here. Bison, buffalo, remember, same thing. Okay. Kind of looks more like a cuddly teddy bear. I might have to work on that a little bit. You might have a deer, you might have an antelope, you can have an owl flying. Okay. Got an owl up there. You see that? Owl also needs a bigger head. Sorry, Mr. Owl. Okay, so you can have all your animals there in the grassland again. Foxes, wolves, coyotes, antelope, jackrabbits. You have lots of options of animals that should be familiar here in Montana. These are animals you see in our state because we live on the grassland part of the world, all right? When you are done, you need to color it beautifully, and then just like you did with the tundra and the ecosystem page, save it, put it in your folder. If mom and dad don't have a 3-hole puncher, just slide them in there for now. Keep them, and I will punch them when we all get back together someday. All right, there you go. Have fun with your grasslands.